Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
It's a beautiful Monday afternoon.
It's very nice outside today.
Sorry, a little late on the show today, but I had to bring the Porsche back to Boston that we had for prom.
You drove safely, I assume?
I drove safely on the way back, yeah.
Observed the posted speed limits?
I mean, within reason. I drove normal on the way back. Hey, listen, I didn't get in any trouble the whole time. I honestly didn't have the car that much because we got back. Then Alicia took it for prom on Saturday. Yesterday I had a bunch of stuff going on. Pretty much the only time I drove yesterday was to go get Emilio from his girlfriend. Well, we meet halfway. His girlfriend lives in Guilford or something. So, yeah, we just met like halfway. And, of course, it was a rainy, crappy trip out there. But, yeah, no, it was a good time. I didn't break I don't think I broke any laws in Newport anyways. I was good. I don't want the chief to get on my case about things, so I made sure I was good in Newport.
Hands were 10-2. I like it. I think now it's 9-3. I think is what Zeta told me.
I drive with one hand anyways usually, but
me too. I usually drive a stick shift.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so prom was cool. That was it was really good.
It's the first time I'd actually seen it. It's pretty cool.
The coolest thing is like, first of all, the chief is awesome and just whatever the kids want to do. So Zeta and her boyfriend Devin show up in a asphalt modified, super cool. Like, especially for me, like I love racing and I had one of those, so for me it's even more cool. And some people it's probably not as cool, but for me, I'm a big race guy, so that's like the coolest thing ever. But he was there, he was directing cars out. Shout out to all the teachers and Miss Martin and everyone there that helped. Crazy, just the amount of support from
it wasn't like on the hottest day of the year so far.
Yeah, it was hot. Luckily, the sun had gone down, so at least had some shade. It wasn't terrible, but just shout out to them. And then, like Miss Martin has said at the end, like this is why I love Newport because we do cool stuff like this, and it's so true because no other town does stuff like this. I mean, they have prom, but not like Newport's prom. Like we just do awesome things in Newport. And so I'm
telling you, it's like stuff that you would see in a movie.
It is. I mean, all these cars and different vehicles coming up, and then Darren Janicki and Victor Colombo. I think his last name's Colombo. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's Victor. We had a red carpet out there because the state had done a bunch of work, obviously, on Main Street, as all we know. And it wasn't
protect the girls and the girls in their dress.
Because
asphalt was still
it was cold patch, and it was unfortunate timing, but I'm just glad to work it done. And so the school said, "Hey, let's get a carpet." So those two boys, especially Darren, kept moving the carpet, and Miss Healy kept saying, "All right, you gotta move it," and it was really cool. It was a great time. All the girls and guys looked fantastic.
It was just a nice farewell to the seniors. There were some dates that weren't seniors, obviously, but for the seniors that were going to their prom, what a way to go out. There were a lot of us out there. It wasn't just family because the town knows about it, so people had stopped. And
there was a lot of people, and I'm kind of a traditional guy. Like I like graduation on the common, and they're doing it at the high school again this year, which. Okay, whatever. I mean, like I said, I liked it on the common.
They used to do it on the common?
It was always on the common. I felt like it was much more of a community event that way, and it was showcased right downtown,
Right, so everybody can see.
Yeah, I mean, Adriano's thing was like, well, the parking's better at the high school and stuff, and I do agree with that, but...
You don't have motorcyclists revving there.
Yeah, but that was just kind of, that was like a Newport thing, and which, like I said, but prom was always at the Opera House. So, like, the kids got out last night, they would have went up to prom, but
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Don't want anybody to think that we're doing a rope-a-dope on our...
Saturday night. I just got all my days all confused.
You've been driving back and forth to Boston.
Yeah.
As your hat implies.
I know, I got a new hat. But, so now they do prom at the airport in one of the private hangars, and and I wish I knew the gentleman's name, but he basically loans the hangar out for the night for these kids. He does it for wrestling. He did it last year for prom. And actually, I think prom now is way cooler, and the kids love it. They have
Wait, there's a wrestling?
Yeah, they do the high school wrestling.
Oh, high school wrestling.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was like
some WWE
minor
stuff.
League circuit.
No.
The real wrestlers out there.
I know we'd be missing that, but
grind it out night to night, town to town.
So it was so cool. So we got I recorded the kids coming and going, and Caleb Godwin's supposed to give me some pictures. He took some obviously beautiful pictures of the kids standing in front of the Opera House, and hoping to mix something together here and put it on at some point this week, and then maybe we could talk to the school and get the kids a copy of it. I know last year they got like a thumb drive with a bunch of different events on it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
cool.
yeah, it was a good time. Friday night went down to Boston. Got to pick the car up in the morning. So me, Adriano, and Lydia stayed down there. Went to a Red Sox game, and finally, like first time all year, they're like on a 5-game winning streak at this point. They swept the Seattle Mariners, so we got to see a grand slam. Nice. It was good. It wasn't super hot. It was a fun time.
Lydia got a ball?
Yeah, she got a ball during batting practice, and then one of the Seattle guys came over and took a picture with her. I got a couple pictures I'll throw up real quick, but yeah, it was really cool. It's the first time they'd been to a Red Sox game, so then I was sitting there. I'm like, oh, because we were like right behind the Penske pole, like a couple seats down. I've never been so close to the field. I liked the close feeling to the field, but I didn't like the seats because you have to kind of like turn like this, and it kind of like bothered my neck, and it's hard to see if people aren't like. So I bought tickets for my birthday, which is in June, for a game, which is actually like one box down and back a couple seats, which I hope will be a little bit better. But then I was there. I'm like, you know what? The cheap seats are grandstand seats out like center field or right field. So I was there. I'm like, you know what? I was sitting there. So I bought 4 tickets, and I told you, I was like, hey, we're going to have to go to a Red Sox game on the 30th after the memorial thing at the town common. And hopefully these seats will be better because we'll be like further back, but I think you'll see better because it's all straight on. So you'll look straight into everything. In the past, I've sat like off of, either the first base or third base side, like, but closer back a little bit, but trying to find the best seats. But it's funny, like if I figured where we were sitting was a good place for catch a foul ball, not one ball. But if you go on the upper deck, first base side, I think there was 4 or 5 balls hit right in that area. I'm like, well, I have to put that on the list sometime to get a seat up here because the ball just kept getting hit right up to those people. So
first base side, so that right-handers probably.
Yeah, those are quite a few right-handers down there.
Zeta and I went and saw the Astros before they were the Cheat-Stros. We sat out by the big green monster. It's kind of cool hearing them hit off the wall. I mean, we were right there at the green monster.
Yeah, we were
so close that I actually got the picture that they walk around bamboozling you for, where they walk around taking your picture. But it was one of those experiences because we love the Astros so much. We love that. We watched a lot of Astros baseball together since she was Adelina's age, at least.
Nice.
I mean? When I got back from my first deployment, we watched baseball up until 2 years ago when they became the Cheat-Stros.
I think they're all a little guilty of that. I would just
but it just is disappointing because what was that, their athletic prowess? They're good athletes. Why do they need to cheat?
Yeah.
And then you can hear the banging of the garbage can. I remember watching games and like, what's that noise?
Yeah, it's funny how a bunch of the teams have been
disappointing when you
caught up in that. And I used to be a much bigger Red Sox fan, like when Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia were there, and Euclid and all these guys. And I don't really know all of them that well now. I mean, a little bit
Keith
better.
Fulk
But
was from my hometown. He was a Red Sox player on one of the World Series teams, closer.
Nice. So kids suckered me in. I told them like after game we'll go into the souvenir shop, and so this hat, which I got for myself, but $50.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I still had the tag on mine that I got out of the game. It was only $25, so
crazy.
Build back better.
So we Adriano was like, oh, I really want to get a jersey. Well, jersey's $200. So I'm like, I tell you what, I'll split it with you. You pay for half, I'll pay for half. So you got a jersey. Lydia got a cool red, like Red Sox, like little thin sweatshirt thing. And I know I'm going back to games. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people have jerseys. I've never owned an actual jersey really before. I'm like, so I bought a David Ortiz jersey. My brother's like, he doesn't even play anymore. I'm like, I know, but he was like my favorite Red Sox player. And people always wear doesn't have to be a current player. So
he was shot a couple of years ago, wasn't he? Was that Ortiz?
Down in the Dominican Republic. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, some weird thing.
Mistaken identity or something.
Yeah, like I don't know how you mistake him for someone else. I mean, pretty big guy, pretty well known. Especially I'm sure in the Dominican, even more well known because obviously they have a lot of pride in the people that play ball from their country. So yeah, Saturday was good. Well, Friday was great. Saturday was great. Yesterday we just kind of chilled and You know, it rained in the evening.
It rained very hard.
Really
I
hard.
had my seedlings out to harden them up, and rain was a little too hard for them. So
Oh boy!
I went as soon as we got back from your house having dinner.
Are we starting fresh now, or are we still all right?
We're all right.
Okay,
but
good.
like there's a few there's a few that might not recover.
Oh boy! Well,
yeah, it happens.
Figure it out, right? Congratulations to the Newport Middle High School music department. Both the band and chorus took home silver at the Great East Music Competition over the weekend.
Awesome.
So that's awesome. This week's Spirit Week, so Life of a Tiger. Tuesday is Tacky Tourist. Wednesday is Luau. And another cool thing about Wednesday is a photo booth in the lobby for the students, which would be cool. I foresee some of these kids stealing my clothes this week for these things. Thursday, this will be my favorite, red, white, and blue, patriotism.
Yeah, that's good to see. It's like our flag type paraphernalia behind us.
Yes, absolutely.
Paraphernalia. Good Lord, I can't speak.
This one's interesting. I don't know what to think about this one. Cookout dad versus soccer mom. I don't think I think of high school kids when talking about soccer moms, but I think about their moms, not high school kids dressing like soccer moms. I don't know what this one's going to look like. What's I don't know.
I don't know. I figure they'll probably have a hat on, much like yours or mine.
For the soccer dad? Or or soccer moms, rather.
Oh, for the cookout dad.
Yeah, the cookout dad, I guess. But soccer mom,
shorts and some...
All the girls that dressing up that day are like, hey, Mom, need the minivan today. We're going to... or it's going to be probably a tire for... No, it's cool.
I don't see a lot of minivans anymore these days. Not like in the 90s.
90s, a lot of them. Those things are actually comfortable and fun to drive.
I've never... Well, I don't think I've ever driven a minivan.
I used to have a Dodge Caravan one, like a 90s one or something, and there's actually comfortable and a lot of room and fun to drive. You wouldn't think so, but...
Hey, you sound like my neighbor in St. Louis that was trying to convince us all that his minivan was cool because it had a fold-out seat so you could pop up the back and it would fold and the seat would come out the other way so you could sit on the tail end. He was really churching up that minivan to try to convince us how cool he was.
Didn't work, did it?
Didn't. We're like, all right, just enjoy your minivan. You got 2 kids. That's a economical car. It's a good choice. Safe.
So those are the things this week, for today and this week or whatever, that's important to talk about today for the school.
I got a question for you.
I'll try to answer it.
Do you think every time that air conditioner kicks on, they're going to be able to hear that through our microphones? Or will they now that I said something and they'll hear it?
Well, they will now, but...
Focus on it?
I'm actually enjoying it because when it kicks on, it gets cooler in here and it feels nice, so...
Yeah, but I don't know why it's turning on and off every minute and a half.
It must be set for temperature of the room.
Oh.
Yeah. It's too bad
we start talking and our
too bad air yeah, that could be it too.
Heats up the room.
I wish it'd stay on a little more. Don't you have a remote for that thing?
I do. It's right over there. It's not near the table.
Well, so next show we'll know to put the remote closer. Great news in a way. So Maple Street will be temporarily closed tomorrow.
Oh, they're going to start
7 a.m. because they're going to pave it. Good news, bad news. Bad news, your street's closed. Good news is you won't break your car anymore on that road. So that's great. That's awesome.
We drove on it on the way out to Sanctuary the other day, and
how was it?
Nikki was yelling. I was driving. Nikki was yelling at me, much like I like to correct her. So she dishes just as good as she gets. But anyway, they had already patched a bunch of the holes.
Yeah, I noticed they patched a few.
But she was like, they haven't patched it. I'm like, that's brand new. It's still steaming, woman.
She hasn't driven enough to really, I think, know, oh no, they patched it because there was a hole out there. We measured it. It was 4 inches deep, 30 inches long.
I think most of the days she goes up that way.
Does she?
So, yeah.
Maybe she's going so fast she just floats over them or something.
Well, she says the Cherokee, you can't really fill it like you can the Acura.
That's true. Cherokee's more of a luxury.
Yeah. Well, the Acura is a luxury car, but you can fill every bump in that.
I'm telling you, take our Mini Cooper up there, and you hit a bump like that, you'll know. You probably break a wheel right off the front of it because it's small. I'm missing that right now. It's at the garage again for, I don't know, check engine light.
Yeah, that's the rumor I've heard on Mini Coopers is that if they're working, they're enjoyable to drive, but if they break down, they tend to break down continuously.
Thank you for wrecking my day.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Tim. I'm Mr. Sunshine.
The only vehicle I got that gets good gas mileage.
Hey, when you're in a good mood, I got to bring you back down, right? It's got to be a balance. So whenever you start getting a little agitated about something, I'll give you a happy-go-lucky. Well, did you think about this, Tim?
Yeah, normally when you try to make me in a better mood, it pisses me off. Two things I saw on the website for the rec center is 6 in the Sticks on June 18th. It's either 3 or 6 miles. Maybe we'll get PJ in here at some point and talk more about it.
It should be 6 miles, right?
I know, but some reason it said 3 too. Well, I don't know. 6 in the Sticks, 6 miles in the woods, right? That's what I thought.
I would assume.
Well, I was kind of reading something and it said, but I was like, you know what? We'll make PJ come in and talk about it. I won't do it justice. So, no, I don't really.
Make him or ask him. Invite him.
Yes, invite him. Graciously accept his appearance on the show.
Hey, I'm like super sensitive to vocabulary and words. If you hadn't figured that out yet. So like most people probably wouldn't even think twice about you saying, "Yeah, we'll make PJ come in here," and I'm like, "You gonna make me do something?"
Yeah, people that know me though kind of get the gist of the things I say. Like when I tell my brother, like, "Hey, I need $50 for this," and he's like, "Okay." I didn't ask. I just told him, and that's just kind of how I am. So people that know me know that. People that don't know me are probably like, "That dude's a jerk."
Well, that's why I'm here, to make sure they know that you're not, that it's just your way of saying, yeah, we'd like to have PJ come in.
Yeah, we'd like to have PJ come in and talk about that.
And then, you're ready for your Tim's moment? You ready for me to step off to the side?
No.
Get you all worked up?
No. And then June 25th, Wings and Wheels, which is 11 to 2. Last year I went. It was really cool. This year I think it's going to be even, like a lot bigger. Cars, trucks, antique vehicles, motorcycles.
We're going to do some reporting from down there?
We are. We want to definitely go down and check that out. And then they're doing a 5K in the morning for the Save a Stray, I think it is, the 5K. That's at 10 o'clock. We originally talked about doing it, but then with the Wings and Wheels thing, we were like, it's like probably a lot for us to do, being we're not athletes in any shape or form.
We could get into some shape in 30 days.
We could. All right, we'll get back to that one. I don't want to do that again. For charity. But, like, people need to, like, step up better, though. Like, I had to work hard for that. I would
go out and do it for fun, just to be a part of...
Well, it is a lot nicer because you don't have to go down Oak Street.
Yeah. I can ask Rob to do it with me. I need to do it because I got to start getting into shape for this elk hunt. So I got to actually, like, commit to something that's going to get me physically... Because going out and working in the garden, yes, it's exercise, and I'm not just sitting around on my rear end, but I need to actually get my heart rate up.
It'll be exercise.
Make sure it doesn't explode.
You bring your stuff outside. You carry one plant at a time to the garden and come back up and get the next one. You'll be in shape really fast.
That hill is pretty brutal.
So on the baby formula front, so I told you about, well, we won't get into it.
You need to make an intro. Baby formula.
Well, hopefully it will be coming to an end here, the crisis part. So there was a meme over the weekend I shared, and you told me not to talk about it on the show, so I won't. But so that's why the baby formula thing brought up. And you told me go to Rite Aid and go to Shaw's. I never did get to Shaw's, but I did get to Rite Aid, and I have a picture of the shelf there.
Yeah, just to check it out.
Yeah, to see if it's...
Is it hyperbole? Is it anecdotal?
It's definitely very real. But over the weekend, 78,000 pounds of baby formula was delivered from Europe to Indiana, which is supposedly like 1 million 8-ounce balls. I think they said, or 500,000. I don't know. It was quite a bit. But I don't know how that's getting like split up. So I don't know if that really means this is good for us here or if it's good for Indiana. I don't know. But
so one shipment?
Yeah, right. One shipment. But supposedly it would be what they could do in 2 weeks when the plant's open. So I don't know. I mean...
That's giving us a jump start of 2 weeks.
I mean, it's something, and I can't... So now I can't just say
the negotiations going on between the FDA and the
Abbott. Yeah, so I can't really harp too hard on the government anymore about it because now at least they're trying to do something, a little too late, but I can't, they're trying to do something now, I guess. Yeah, we have plenty of other things we could find. It's really not hard to do.
Yeah, it's still, though, it's an issue.
It is definitely an issue.
They're trying to, after the fact... I don't understand how when they shut it down in February they did not foresee this happening. Like it's mind-boggling to me that we have people who are supposed to be looking out for us, so to speak,
experts in their fields, and yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean that's like supply chain management 101. Oh, 1 out of 3 in the country shut down, so either the other 2 have to ramp up, or you got to figure out, and because that's like a vital I feel like, yeah, it's a vital product that's produced here that something should have been done before.
Yeah, it's not like a shortage of potatoes. You just don't eat potatoes for a little while. It's like baby formula. It's like, okay, we kind of need that.
Right. That's,
you know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of an important thing, you know.
You can go buy some mashed potatoes in a box. You can get your potato. Right. You can go drink some vodka.
Now, granted, if you have like a grandmother, well, a great grandmother probably, she could tell you how to make baby formula, and we could stop relying on baby formula companies.
Yeah, that's probably what we should do.
So that's very much a thing you can do. Like Andrew said.
Yeah, I saw a bunch on the internet. I don't know.
You can give your child goat's milk, which has got high nutrient. Like there's a lot of things you can do, but some people just. I mean, first of all, if you live in a city, it's gonna be hard to find goat's milk, or so I could see it. Like for us here, maybe it's a little different because you could do that. Like I could easily get goat's milk. But
every time you say goat's milk, if my mom was watching, she's shuddering. I found out over the weekend.
If mom didn't watch no more?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
In case she hasn't,
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it's one of our 100 subscribers. Anyway, she had to milk the goats when she was a kid, so she loathes goats. She can't stand goats.
My grandfather couldn't eat chicken for years.
I was talking about your goat being up on the hay bale, how funny it was that it was lording over the cows. And then my mom let me know that she had to milk the goats when she was a kid, and she hates goats or dislikes goats.
See, my grandfather was the same thing with chickens. He worked at a chicken farm when he was a kid, and he's like, you just can't never get the smell out of, like, when they defeather them and stuff. And he's like, I couldn't eat chicken for years and years and years. And then he's like, well, I finally can now. But so I understand that. Yeah, I could see that. It's not cool. Speaking of my meme, and fentanyl. See, I'm putting this together slowly for you. Fentanyl, baby formula. It's easier to get fentanyl than baby formula. Anyways, I don't want to insult anyone locally, so there's a alert. We need a breaking news alert. We need to come up with something. We can push a button, and so there's bad fentanyl coming around is in the area. And
I saw that.
And this is actually not a joking matter. I'm joking about all the other stuff, but
right.
there is actually
some serious.
Yes, no, this is
you have your serious tone.
Yeah, it's serious. I mean, now the part that I have a hard time being serious about is the fact that when is fentanyl ever good for you? Or when is it ever not deadly? Because I thought it was deadly no matter what. But apparently this stuff is worse or something. It's like a scorpion on a package. But the bigger thing for us to talk about that I was found more pressing to talk about is, if you have school-age kids that, smoke marijuana, they're saying that also may be in some of that. So you need to be careful because a lot of kids will smoke marijuana and think, oh, it's no big deal. It's not going to hurt me, right? Well, maybe in normal circumstances, if it come from a dispensary or you had a friend that made it in Vermont where it's legal, maybe that would be an okay mindset to have. But this
if they're over 21.
Yeah, but this is laced. So this, you smoke marijuana, you're like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends, and now you're dead because, well, you smoke marijuana and it has fentanyl in it. So
why would they lace it with fentanyl?
I've had this conversation with many people. I don't understand it because now I'm a business owner. I've never been a drug dealer, but it's the same concept. You're a business, right? So if my business is selling drugs, if the people I sell to die, I lose business. So why would I put fentanyl in marijuana when it's not going to get you hooked more? You're just going to die. So I don't understand that myself. I understand the fentanyl overdoses when someone's doing heroin and then they get fentanyl, don't know because the amount of fentanyl is 1,000 times or 10,000 times the strength of a regular thing of heroin. I get that. But why would you want to put that in THC, marijuana? It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, it's just a conversation to have with your kids. Yeah, you can have the conversation, don't do drugs, as I think we've all had with our kids. But reality is it's out there. And it's much more important for you to say, there's another reason why you shouldn't do drugs is because you don't know where this comes from, and the person that you're with probably doesn't know where it comes from, and it could have fentanyl in it, and you could die from.
So that is that what the alert said? It has a scorpion?
Yeah, it sounded like the actual heroin bags had the scorpion on it. I mean, I don't think the marijuana.
I saw that alert too. I didn't think to
it was all over
it for the show, but I
yeah, it was all over Facebook, and I was like, well, I'll talk about it on the show. I mean, it was over the weekend, so. A lot of people probably know, but still want to make sure, people know. And
it's good looking out.
I mean, we don't want you to do drugs anyways, but especially talk to kids about marijuana because, I mean, normally, like I said, marijuana alcohol and marijuana. We could have that debate, and we're not going to have that debate, but kids do it. But I don't want to see your kids dying because they had fentanyl-laced marijuana.
That's crazy.
You should always know where everything is you put in your body. You should know where it comes from. So just a heads up on that. I have a funny meme of the day. Go from something serious to funny. So it's this little Yoda. I'm going to put it up. This is the devil whispered in my ear. You're not strong enough to withstand the storm. And this is kind of like a positive thing too, right? And I whispered back, at least I didn't lose my golden fiddle to some hillbilly from Georgia. So that's a good funny meme.
It's a good song.
Yes, it is. Charlie Daniels. So over the last week, the whole Russian hoax thing came up again because it's in court now. And Clinton's lawyer lied to the FBI about the whole thing. It was fabricated. Now it's on oath. So the whole Russian hoax is now officially a Russian hoax, even though some people will still probably believe it because
allegedly linked back to the Clinton campaign, top of the campaign, possibly even her.
Yes,
allegedly.
So the lawyer under oath said that, the whole thing was a hoax, and he also said like she was behind the whole thing, like the whole thing. So if anything will come out of that, that would be a miracle because anyone that's ever anything on the Clinton seems to become suicidal suddenly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
What you say here.
Allegedly. I don't have anything on the Clintons. I can talk about it. I don't have anything on you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just
right. But so yeah, that whole thing come out, and then I thought it was funny because then like the same day or the next day, I think it was the next day, Yahoo News comes out with Russia bans 963 Americans from the country, including Harris, Biden, Zuckerberg, but not Trump. So we just proved that the whole thing was a bunch of BS and should be criminal. Like, should be people going to jail for this. Yet Yahoo the next day, we need to help out our side, so let's peddle this whole crap. Like, first of all, Trump's not going to go to freaking Russia. And
he's on a flight tomorrow.
Right. Then I'll apologize tomorrow. But who gives a crap if you're banned from Russia? Who the hell wants to go to Russia anyways? Who wants to go to Russia any day that's not now? Like, never in my life I said, man, I can't wait. Someday I want to go to Russia. I mean, I think St. Petersburg or something would be pretty cool. But, it's just...
Hey, you're talking to a homebody here. I have no desire to leave the great old United States of America.
No, I used to, but now I'm not so much. But
yeah, you did a lot more traveling than I've ever done.
I've traveled a lot. I'm glad I did because now I don't want to leave because I'm like, I might not be able to get back in. Depending where I am, that might be a blessing. But if I'm in Aruba, I'm like, it's cool. I'll stay here. I love Aruba. I'll stay here all the time. But it's irritating because, as we said many times in the show, that we'll go after people, left, right, whatever. And then we had a conversation on the weekend, and you're right. We're going to stop using the left-right crap. So when we talk about the Clintons, we're just going to talk about Clintons. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I'm just going to talk about your name as the, S-bag some of these people are. That's right, because people get caught up in this crap, right? People are like, oh, Democrat, Republican.
Tribalism.
Yeah. No. How about this person's not doing their job and we're going to fire them because that's their job and they're not doing it right, and we're going to hold them accountable. So that's what needs to happen. And so I thank you for that because we can change that and we don't need to talk about that. And
it's basically what we've been saying, but some of the terms that you were using, I was like, hey, you're still attached, man. You got to let go.
Yeah, and
it's hard to let go because I find myself sometimes, using terms that might make somebody think that I'm something that I'm not.
I mean, I found out over the weekend.
In the political scene,
Right. I found out over the weekend we actually do have listeners now. Like, someone shook my hand and said, I listen to your show, like, all the time, and I really enjoy it, and I appreciate it, and blah, blah, blah. Cool. So I was like, I almost felt rude, too, because I didn't go to shake her hand at first, because maybe I was so caught off guard by someone that actually said he listened to the show. I wasn't paying attention. At least she's like, oh, she's trying to shake your hand. I'm like, oh, thank you.
That's funny. I've gotten like 2 looks when I'm out and about in town. I don't know if it's from the show or if it's because I'm on the board, school board. But
probably because of my comment about kindergartners not being potty trained. I'm waiting for those.
I don't.
But none of those people don't listen to the show anyways. Yeah. And I really don't give a crap. So That's my MO. Hey, someone confirmed it at the, I will not say who this was, but you were standing there and confirmed my personality and everything I do on the show, that I say what people are thinking, and this person at that concert said that to you exactly. He's saying things that we think, but he's saying them out loud, and I'm like, see, I told you, Steve. I am doing good service.
I'm here to provide a counter or to help discuss it, right? Because a lot of times when you get emotional, people will just dismiss you.
Yeah,
it's okay to get emotional about things, but when you get emotional, communication breaks down, and I can get emotional. Do not get me wrong, but
you're the balance.
This is the
to
Tim
this whole
and Steve
thing.
show.
So. The balance. You're the balancing act right there. You keep the balance in the whole thing.
Try to. Sometimes once in a while, though, you give me a look like I just want to rage.
Yeah, sometimes, but this I'd like to rage about. But this is something you kind of fully, very much agree with me anyway. So we should have a new segment on this. I think maybe that'll be part of the show. Like I'll have the Let's Go Brandon segment, which I really didn't have a segment anything to talk about today. So I didn't look real hard, but I was kind of busy. But we'll have the King Sununu segment. So Chris Sununu, the governor of New Hampshire, try not to use terms again. So over the weekend or Saturday, Friday, or whatever, he vetoed House Bill 1131, which was basically it takes away the school board's ability to enforce mask mandates and puts it on the parents where it should be. And he said, this is a quote from him, wants local government to have control when decisions are, well, no, this isn't a quote, excuse me. This is a comment that was written. This is, Chris Sununu wants the local government to have control when it's decisions about our children, but the state wants control when it's decisions made about our communities. And so if it's a community as a whole, he can rule over, he'll tell us what to do. But if it's just a single person, he thinks, well, leave it to the school board. But what gets me about this is you as a school board have no authority over me whatsoever. Like, not me, but like my children, as far as that goes. There's nothing written in the New Hampshire Constitution or the U.S. Constitution that says that you have permission to tell me I can wear a mask, not wear a mask, or do any of those things. And Sununu, even himself, does not have the power to do so. Even his executive order is a bunch of crap. It's not even in effect anymore, but you can't rule by executive order. This is a constitutional republic. This is not a dictatorship. This is not a kingdom. So he's, and it passed the House and the Senate with obviously more than 50% vote. And so once again, he doesn't do what the people of the state want. He does what he wants. And it's a re-election year. So I really hope, I'd like to get some candidates in here over obviously the next couple months and that are running against him. And because it's time we send old Chris Sununu packing, in my personal opinion. He's been a do-nothing governor. He's done nothing for our state, in my opinion. We've had a lot better governors in recent years.
No, I mean, his family's connected. All these families
they're all connected.
The same family.
It's just a big cesspool. It really is. Like
his dad worked for George H.
Yep, his dad worked for George H. We found out when we were going through all this school stuff how much of a cesspool and how connected it really is. And if you don't, if you really think we're just blowing smoke up here, like, look into it. Like, you will see that every one of these people are connected, and it come down to a thing with a lawyer that we had that I will say nothing positive about because he's a piece of crap too, and that's probably some of the reason he got in trouble. But we were looking at it like, Jean Shaheen's husband is in charge of the advisory board
state
or whatever, state, yeah, like they're all connected. And then I was told the other day, like, the Claremont decision, which was a school thing way back in the 90s, which was a school lawsuit over school funding, that they still haven't settled the lawsuit. And they said, you know why they haven't settled the lawsuit? Because the legislation is the one that makes the budget for the judicial branch. So that would be like shooting themselves in the foot. And I'm like, oh, so you're not going to do your job because someone might cut your pay or whatever. And I'm like, they're all connected. Every one of them.
Interesting, too, because I don't think our state reps really get,
they don't.
Per diem travel money, maybe?
Yeah, they get mileage. That's it. So they're not even like paid reps.
They don't get
like in Massachusetts, you're paid. Yeah. Up in New Hampshire, you're not paid. It's just mileage. So I don't get it. I really don't. And there's a parents' rights bill coming up, which they already said he's going to veto that too. Basically, I think it was like a vaccine thing and school. Like, it's a whole package. And he said something about, turning it back to the Department of Ed or whatever, how he almost alluded to the fact that
I don't know how they can do that because the Department of Education is a bunch of bureaucrats who I did not elect, and they don't get to tell me what to do.
No. We elected this clown who doesn't represent the people anymore. He represents himself, I guess, and represents his family, but he's also the one that had people arrested at executive council meeting illegally.
They do say amen or something?
Yeah, 13 people. Therese, who runs like We the People in New Hampshire now and does a lot of other stuff, and she was a nurse that got fired because of the vaccine thing, or I think she got fired because I don't think she quit, but she got fired, I believe it was. But anyways, that's what fueled her, and she was one of the ones arrested. It was like a 7-year-old lady that was arrested. An executive council meeting, which is an open meeting, public meeting. They weren't being disruptive or anything. So, Chris Sununu's brother, who is on the select board or whatever you want to call it, city council where he lives, passed an ordinance over a weekend or something, or this was a while ago, but basically he had protesters near his house. So, his brother passes an ordinance so it was illegal to, protest outside of his house. And I mean, whether you believe that's good or bad or not, like I'm not debating that. I'm debating the fact that there's just a big cesspool of these people.
Well, yeah, he can immediately get legislation for himself passed, right, that protects him and his property.
But he doesn't pass anything that protect my kids' rights. That's interesting.
Yeah. Do you have another meme you're going to throw up, or?
Oh, yeah, that's just a Chris Sununu meme. It's campaigns for school choice for parents' votes, and then thinks students are property of the state and denies parental rights. So we'll put that bad boy up there. And now it comes to the topic for you in the show.
Yeah, you had mentioned vaccines, and I've been following, researching as much as I can from the very beginning, just to help my wife, who is in the medical field, so that I read as much as I can and ask her questions and get her to read things. And so, before the last pandemic hit, there was Event 201. You can look it up. The fact checkers will say, because people are saying they predicted it or whatever, but there was Event 201 that occurred a few months before, where they ran a simulation of a zoonotic coronavirus outbreak. And then, 4 months later, there's a zoonotic coronavirus outbreak.
Imagine a coincidence.
And then with the monkeypox that's starting to make the news, there was the Nuclear Threat Initiative. It's a nonprofit. You can look it up on their website. I'm not making this up. You can look it up and just discern for yourself the coincidences between coronavirus and now monkeypox. But they ran a simulator that basically, and you can, it's very easy to find on their website. So I would look it up, nti.org, the Nuclear Threat Initiative. So they ran a simulator, and there's some who's who of people, and Ted Turner's on their board. Anyway, so they basically ran a monkeypox simulator in March of 2021, and maybe again in November of 2021. Maybe it continued on throughout that 8-month period. But anyway, they ran the simulator, showed millions of people dying, like hundreds of millions dying, with 3 billion getting sick. So that's just under half the world population. So this is a simulator that they use, but it's just coincidental that they chose monkeypox, and now we have cases of monkeypox coming up. So I am a very suspicious person when it comes to authority. Like I don't automatically trust authority. Maybe because I was in the government for so long that there are people, and people may even consider me not being worthy of having some of the authority and responsibility that I had. But at the end of the day, you have regular people that have authority and responsibility that they weren't elected to have, that they're not held to account in the way that you would think that they are, and they make decisions that affect us all. So I would recommend looking it up. You can look up the fact checkers, and they'll tell you Event 201 was not a predictive, whatever people try to call it. I'm just telling you that's it's coincidental that they had that 4 months before the coronavirus outbreak, and it was about a coronavirus outbreak. Well planned. I mean, they know when this is going to hit, right? So they tell you that they do, right? Because they'll tell you, there's a new strain coming out in August. Like, how do you know it's going to start making the rounds in August?
They're just that
Like,
good.
who believes this? Like, I don't understand what fear would drive someone to think that, let me trust this guy. Like,
do you remember the...
like, don't trust me. Look it up. Like, I'm telling you right now, you can say, Morris, you're crazy, whatever, but you can go read it on the NTI.org website about monkeypox and the simulator that they did and how bad the outcome of it was. And don't get me wrong, they do all kinds of simulators. Like, even the military does wargaming. It happens. I'm just telling you, it's very coincidental.
Do you remember a couple months back, or I don't remember how long ago it was? Remember there was like a truck that crashed that had a bunch of monkeys in it from a lab?
I do remember that.
Isn't that interesting? Remember they like, we need to get them back because, you know.
Yeah, where was that? Was that in Tennessee or somewhere? I was somewhere weird. But yeah, I recall that. Should look that up and put it on my coincidental list.
Interesting, isn't it?
Like, I would just recommend that people ask questions.
Right.
Ask questions like,
demand answers.
Did the mask protect you? Did the flu really go away for a whole year because people were wearing a mask, or was it for some other reason? Was it because of testing, perhaps?
What gets me with a mask is if the mask works so well, then why the hell do I have to wear it?
No, so there's studies out there, by the way, that show if you want to protect yourself, go get yourself an N95 mask, have it properly fitted to your face, and you leave it on, and you will be more protected than walking around with a surgical mask. Me and you both having a surgical mask on it's not that good, right?
Just to make
Sitting
other
here,
people feel better.
Yeah, but I don't have to make anybody feel better.
Exactly.
You want to make me feel better? Walk up and give me $1,000 and say, no strings attached. Good luck, buddy. That'll make me feel good.
Yeah.
You having a mask on, you going and getting a shot of any kind, only thing that you could do and I could do to make somebody feel better on our personal hygiene is like brush our teeth and wear deodorant and take a shower regularly.
Even that's for ourselves, like, you know, for your own personal health. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you work, then you gotta present yourself.
It just gets me because the same group of people that are like, you're going to overturn Roe versus Wade, which we said before we're going to talk about on the show because it's nothing to do with us. But the point I'm making is those are the same people saying you have to wear a mask because you're supposed to protect me. I'm like,
yeah, there's a lot of
freaking kidding me? No, I don't have to do shit to protect you.
Double standard, hypocrite. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff. I would just say ask questions and be informed. Like, don't, because somebody throws up a counter on the screen and tries to put fear into your life, don't be scared.
Right.
Like, look at it and be like, wow, I need to look that up. Let's find some information on that.
Right.
Let's find out what exactly wearing a mask or getting this shot or whatever. Like, do the research. Read the insert to the packaging. Don't just trust people. Don't trust me and you.
Yeah. And don't go on Facebook and look this up and think you're going to get factual information.
Or don't go to Wikipedia. Or you got to go to the actual insert to the medicine, all your medicines. Like, read what all of it. Find out. A lot of them will tell you that it may or may not protect you, but then you're going to be susceptible to 25 different side effects.
It's funny because
where it may or may not protect you. And this, I'm not even talking about the most recent. I'm talking about old school stuff that we got when we were even kids. It says it may or may not protect you, and you may also get one of these 20 different
at least 20
side effects.
Yeah, it's funny because now it's
and you have to. It's an individual choice. I'm not going to begrudge anybody that does, but just do the research so that you know what you're doing.
Well, I mean, now
you know what you're getting. You know that if the mask is going to work, like there's studies on it. I'm not making this up. You can go find it on medical journals, not on Wikipedia or PolitiFact or the Babylon Bee, whatever. You know what I mean? Like those, that's a satire site, but you know what I mean. Like go look it up on the .org websites and the .edu and.
Well, it was funny over the weekend. I saw this meme, and I was like, I totally thought of you because you're like the '90s movie guy or '80s movie guy, whatever. And so it was Kindergarten Cop, and remember the part in the movie when the kid stands up and Arnold's like teacher of the kindergarten, and he's like, "Boys have penises and girls have vaginas," and it was this whole thing. It got fact checked as partially false on Facebook. So apparently, Facebook knows something we don't, new science that we haven't heard about. That's not true, I guess.
You know, it's interesting. Side note here: whenever I watch. When I pull up movies now, I always wonder because something made in 1989 that I know was made in '89 or in the '90s or even the early aughts, it will have like 2021 as the new publishing date, and I always wonder what did they change in that movie? Mm-hmm. What did they take out to either not offend or to start changing something? Because I find it weird it doesn't have like for instance, Beverly Hills Cop, 1984 or whatever, whenever it came out. Then it'll have like 2020.
It's very weird.
Like like there could just be a glitch in the system, somebody putting it in, put this year in there instead or whatever. But I find that odd.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. That's why I was telling you at one point. I don't know if it was on air, but I think my dad still has like old encyclopedias at his house. And I was like, I'm not a big like let's go buy all kinds of books guy, but I'm like I really want to go buy all kinds of books because then I'm like, all right, well that's funny because they printed this in 1990 and this was the fact. Because you notice facts change, and I'm not talking updated.
Change, right? Like you get, like there's better technology. There's going to be some updates, but
right, like Pluto is a planet, and then Pluto's not a planet, and then Pluto's a planet again. Okay, then maybe that's different in the book. Says whatever.
That's a
no. I'm talking like
arguing the size of the actual rock that it is. I get that. That changes, but like.
It's just the other stuff we need to prove that people like. No, see, look, a lot of times I'll take screenshots on things. Like someone said over the weekend, oh no, under Bush, we had $4 gas prices. I was like, no, we didn't. That was under Obama. We never had $4 gas. Maybe in California.
I remember when we had $4 gas. Cause I lived in St. Louis, and I almost sold the Acura because it used premium. And I was like, this is right. It adds up quickly when you're on a budget.
Yeah.
If you're not on a budget, you're someone with money. You can go out and buy you a Tesla, and you can put a charger in your garage and not have to worry about getting stuck on the highway.
Right.
And good for you. I'm happy for you, but not everybody can live like that.
So, let's see.
You looking it up? You're doing average gas prices over the years?
Hold it up. So, Obama took office the election was in 08. We took in 09, right? So, let's see. And the problem is this is like a national thing. It doesn't say where, right? So U.S. all grades, all formulas, retail gas per gallon. Does it say where it actually came from, though? But anyway, so let's see. 08. Oh, no, I got to apologize. So it says $4.10 in June of 08, but that wasn't here because I never see gas prices that high until Obama, which actually makes me wonder if some of this stuff had changed because I don't see any $4 gas under Obama. And I know for a fact gas was $4 a gallon under Obama. So that's very interesting. But
yeah, well, according to you got fact checked, and according to it, it was June. It wasn't June of 2008 is when the housing market started to collapse.
Yeah, well, it says $2.10, $2.11, and then it dropped, to $1.74.
So you're telling me there's no $4 gas during Obama's entire term? I find that hard to believe because I remember the gas station was right at the end of my neighborhood, and
I'm telling you, Steve, according to this website, there is no $4 gas under Obama, which I know is complete
Mandela effect going on now.
Right.
That's a real conspiracy.
And this is actually from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, so it's a federal website.
That's like price at the pump?
Just says U.S. all grades, all formulations, retail gasoline prices. I mean, we'll look into it a little better down the road, but I know for a fact, because I was buying it, that we had the highest gas prices we've ever had was under Obama. And under Trump, it went way down to where it used to be, and then under Biden now, it's obviously breaking records. It's higher than it's ever been, $4.55 in Newport now. So
we're gonna have to look into that because my memory serves me. It might I'm not gonna argue under Bush or not. I don't remember it, but I totally remember when I lived in St. Louis, it was over $4 a gallon.
I mean, this literally says the only $4 gas we've ever had prior to this year was June and July of 2008. And I know that's not true because I know it was horrible. It wasn't during all of Obama's presidency.
It was there was like a 9 or...
Yeah, there was like a whole good summer period of something where it was $4. It was hovering on each side of it, but I know it was over $4 because it broke a record. And then now they have April at $4.21, which, I mean... Now we're in May, it's $4.55, so even that number probably seems a little low. But, then again, in March they have a $4.30 too. But it's curious. I'm curious where it comes from.
You know what I mean? But some of that might also not have the taxes, right? So that's without all the taxes added in. So
right, because gas.
But I don't remember
because that
being that summer. That summer, I remember thinking, I can't believe I just bought a house and now the housing market's crashing.
Right, and usually when the housing market cracks, the gas prices don't go up. Well, then again, everything's going to hell right now, and the gas prices going up. But that's a whole different thing. But
houses are going up, gas is going up. That's inflation.
Right, but so I don't know. It's very interesting. Now, like I said, I don't know where they take this from because, for instance, if you buy gas down south, it's cheaper because there's not as much tax. If you go to New York, you go to California, there's way more tax. So $4 gas in California, yeah, I'm sure that happened many times. Right. But overall, as the nation, or New Hampshire especially, the only time we saw $4 gas was under Obama and under Biden.
Yeah, I usually I'm pretty good with my memory, and I'm not saying that it wasn't under Bush, but I remember definitely under Obama because I was like, what?
Right, that's why I know. I know this is completely screwed up because, like I said,
what does it have in there at the highest during his 8 years?
The highest is 376. 376. What I see right here. No, 395. So 395 from what I can see real quick on this, and this is a 20-year. It's a whole 20-year chart, and
395 plus local taxes. That's over $4.
Right,
but.
So I don't know.
Technically, I'd like to see.
But right now, gas is like I think $6 and something over in California. So, but that's not the national gas average. So it's not. Like California, just everything's more expensive in California. That's why everyone moves out of California because they can't afford to live there. But someone said that meme and I laughed. And even if someone is saying oh, it was $4 under Biden under Bush, yeah, for 2 months, and then in December it was $1.74. So.
Yeah, it says in 2008 of June, a barrel of oil averaged $181, while a gallon of gas averaged $4.10.
Now let's think about something. You just brought something up very important. $181 a barrel. Last I checked, gas was around $110 a barrel. So why is my gas costing me $4.55 a gallon when it was almost, $70 roughly more per barrel of oil?
Your dollar is worth less now than it was then.
Yeah, right? But that's.
No, I
half.
I see exactly what you're saying, which is some of this has the appearance of being self-induced misery to us all. That's my big concern.
Because they want to sell electric cars.
That's why the baby formula is a concern. Is if we knew about it in February, why are we only reacting? Why aren't we proactive? And then when they shut it down in February, it should have been like, hey.
There should have been a whole team on that.
I get it that they don't want to necessarily announce it because then you'll have people going and hoarding it, and stockpiling it, and selling it for $100 and they're probably already doing that now.
But know how you defend that? You say, okay, I'm in charge. We have a crisis. Obviously, if you're the president, you have lots of things to deal with. We have a lot
of crises going on.
There's a lot of things happening. Okay, border wide open. You get all these things happening. But don't you say, okay, I'm going to put this group of people on this formula shortage issue. Then, now, when people bring it up, you say, I put these people in charge. Because then they at least say, I was doing something about it. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. We just didn't do nothing. Why? It's not my problem, right? I'm just running the country. Yeah. It's crazy.
And, I don't know. My problem is that I trust people, right? It's so while I don't trust the government, I trust that if you were on that inspection team that shut it down, you don't just shut it down and be like, it's over with. Then someone in that chain of command of the team from the FDA that shut it down should then report up and say, we have a serious issue on our hands here. What are we going to do about it? And if they did do that, why didn't the government do anything about it? And why isn't that person standing up? And if they didn't do that, shame on them, right? Well, I have a lot of questions because it's not just as easy as they didn't do anything. Yeah, they didn't do anything.
But the thing is, the federal government's one to shut it down to start with, so you can't even say well, we didn't know we shut it down. What do you mean you didn't know you shut it down?
Well, no, it's reported up somewhere, but that's what I'm saying is where are the individuals who should have done the right thing and said, because I would imagine if they're on that inspection team, So maybe not the actual inspection team, because they're probably going to inspect a bunch of different places. But at some
Yeah, but
point
the
in that chain of
biggest formula
command of
company,
bureaucracy, someone should look at their thing and be like, "Uh-oh, we got a problem here. One of our 3 major producers of baby formula is down."
the biggest one in the country. There's only 4 in the country. That's the biggest
there's
one.
4?
Yeah, that's the biggest one though. It's been down since
I keep
February.
saying one of 3, one of 4.
Yes, but it was 4. 4 of them. That's
my
the biggest.
concern is, where is the bureaucrat to raise the whistle or
But
raise the red flag, and then if he or she did, and someone in the government said, whatever.
Exactly.
Then we should know about it, and that person should be held to account for not looking out for the best interest of
Nancy Pelosi said
country.
She was going to get to the bottom of this, and someone was going to pay for this. So let's see who pays. It'll probably
you and I are going to pay with our taxes. Come on.
Because we'll invent a new tax to fix this situation.
Be the baby formula of 2022 tax.
Yes. 90% will go into politicians' pockets. 10% will go to
they got to form a committee.
Right.
Was she turning into Lindsey Graham? She's gonna get to the bottom of it. Her and Lindsey gonna work together.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah.
Clowns.
Yeah, we live in a clown world, as you say, and I'm starting to see it more and more. I'm
telling you, just do some. All you got don't. I read the fact checkers because I find it humorous, because I like to see. Because they'll nitpick something. So you could say so and so did something on Saturday that totally ruined us, and if they actually did it on Friday night before midnight, they'll be like, 4 Pinocchios. It happened on a Friday night. Like, they won't actually address the fact that they did it, but they'll address the fact that it was actually Friday night at 11:59. So he's a liar.
Yeah, I mean, first of all,
that's the kind of stuff. Like, I'm telling you, if you look into it enough. And that's what intrigued me about watching the news when I was a kid, is you start picking up on patterns. Well, there's a pattern that you can recognize if you're interested.
But let's think about fact checkers. Let's talk about fact checkers for just a second. So, fact checkers.
It'll be our last show ever after.
Yeah, whatever. So, fact check, whatever. They put all this crap on Facebook. There was one I saw the other day about Biden. It had 6 fact checks. And I'm like, are you kidding? And it wasn't even something that was like, why would you? It's so stupid. And I see 6 fact checks, then that story is true as freaking can be. But they literally...
Isn't that sad, though? Like, you're like, oh, that's true.
Right. The more fact checks, the more true the story is. Quick, get rid of the story. But they were under oath. Court documents. Facebook said under oath in court that their fact checks are nothing but opinion. And then suddenly after that, they really drop way, way, way back. And now they just fact check stuff like, protecting the president a little bit here and there. And they don't fact check as much as they used to. But the point is, they're supposed to be a platform, not a publisher, which gives them that 230 exemption.
You love talking about the old 230 exemption.
230 exemption. They're not a publisher, but they're editing what you say.
Well, don't worry about it. Lindsey Graham's going to look into that.
Oh. Right.
Oh, hey, they're going to look into it now that Elon Musk is trying to buy it. So.
No, that's Twitter.
Yeah, but it's all the same.
Same whole thing, yeah.
It's all the same cesspool of AI-driven bots.
Proving Twitter's half fake.
I saw somebody that said, "I'm just like, I assume that there were bots on Twitter, but how are there? If it's only half, how are 10 million people following the president?" I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
That's true. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, if 20 of the 20 million, if half of them are bots, there's still 10 million.
It's kind of like a car accident, though. You shouldn't look over there, but you want to look over there because that's just you want to watch the train wreck.
Yeah, but
problem is we're in the train.
The difference is I don't think that President Biden is actually writing his tweets, whereas I feel like with President Trump, he was probably writing most of those, if not dictating what they were going to say.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
I don't know, man. It's just
this dude can't find his way back to his freaking office.
Don't trust I'm not saying walk around not trusting anyone, but if you're being told you have to do this, like, that should be a red flag. That's what I'm talking about. Like, when,
right.
I'm not saying just because somebody is a politician, don't trust them. I'm saying if they tell you that you must or always, like, those are keywords that, if someone uses those in an argument with you, that they're going to lose, because always is very hard to prove.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Always, never.
Exactly.
Those are like, well, as soon as someone uses that. So that's when I say, look it up.
Listen, the saying, nothing, if this saying wouldn't have happened if it wasn't true, there's nothing crookeder than a lawyer and a politician. That wouldn't just happen by coincidence. No, it's true. I wouldn't trust a politician. Tell me it's raining outside. I'd go look, verify that myself. Now, I'm not saying they're all that way, because I think we've talked about this before. Locally, like sometimes my old way of saying the Democrats and Republicans or liberals and whatever, like 99% of that doesn't pertain to anyone in our community. It's just those nut jobs you see like in TV and stuff. But so like locally, like it doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see that in our community, our local small community. No, it's when you get to the state level, it gets a little worse. And then when you get to the federal level, it's a complete clown show. I wouldn't trust anything that federal people say because they lie constantly. So how can Gene Shaheen feel it's all right to send $40 billion or $39.8 billion to Ukraine, but then vote to turn down the small business rescue package they were going to put in? Wonder what she's done for baby formula lately. I don't know. So somehow she must think that our views in New Hampshire, we all think that we should send more money to Ukraine because that's more important than baby formula. It's more important than our gas prices out of control. It's more important in the inflation that's out of control. It's more important than all those things.
So I just looked it up, and she applauded the Senate's unanimous passage of the Access to Baby Formula Act. This bipartisan legislation, co-sponsored by Senator Shaheen and Hassan, will require formula manufacturers to plan for shortages and make sure moms and babies who rely. So, she sponsored something. I wanted to make sure.
Wait a second.
This was one of those ones where I thought I heard something.
No, thank you for bringing this up. See, you just saved me face. So, okay, I'll step back. She just sponsored that bill, but that bill's a bunch of BS. Just like the freaking lynching bill they just passed, that if you lynch someone in this country, it's a federal hate crime. No one's been lynched in this freaking country in 50 years. It's a do-nothing bill. Oh, you need to prepare for a shortage. Well, if the FDA didn't shut the plant down, there wouldn't be a shortage. If the FDA did their job, there wouldn't be a shortage right now. So that's another bill that does jack crap, and it just makes sure it's a name, it's a headline.
Yeah, well, it gives, but it makes this happen, right? So,
but formula has a shelf life.
She hasn't done anything for us, right? So then someone's going to be like, "Oh, she has. She co-sponsored this."
Good news. Someone in that organization, her organization, is listening to our show. Because it seems lately when we do something, other people start to step up and do other things. Have you noticed that, Steve?
Anyway, so yeah. So they're going to assign a coordinator within the White House on infant formula to address the shortage. So now we're going to get another bureaucrat out of it?
Yeah. So on the side of Shaheen and Hassan, they've done...
So they're invoking the Defense Production Act, increasing imports from other countries to address the shortage. So they're doing something about it. I mean, here's the thing. The company should have had their whatever. I don't know.
It never should have happened to start with.
It shouldn't have happened.
Right. And that's not Shaheen or Hassan. No, that's the Biden administration. That's just the facts.
But my point, like your point is it never should have gotten to this point.
Right.
I mean, people get shut down. Obviously, you don't want
of course
babies
not
dying from something going on.
But they should be like, here's $1 million fine a day you're closed because you know what I'm saying. I'd love to know what the agreement was they came to. Remember, we had
then you start getting dangerously close to communism and socialism with the government fining somebody. Like, so it's a private business that gets inspected by the FDA. My whole thing is like, so they passed this bill, but at the end of the day, if they're going to invoke it, they're going to get imports from other countries. So now we're going to pay import, export, so the cost is going to go up.
Yeah.
At least for whatever they bring in, I would assume.
Right. But the point is...
and then our FDA's not over there inspecting those, so now we're trusting some other countries' Food and Drug Administration equivalent to... Maybe they're sending people over there. Like, I'm kind of talking about it half-cocked because I just looked it up. But I thought I had heard something that there was...
But I tell you right now, I would bet money if we could get one of the executives from that company on here and say, hey, what happened? How come you guys got shut down? They'd be like, okay, we had a bacteria thing, blah, blah, blah. These are the steps we took, blah, blah, blah. Why have you been closed for 3 months? And I guarantee you, I bet you money, they would say, well, because the FDA wouldn't give us the approval, they drag their feet. I guarantee you that would be the response. Because if you're a business like that, losing millions of dollars, I'm sure, a day, how long think you can do that before you got a business? I mean, what all these employees been doing this whole time? Like, you don't need people packing boxes of formula. If you're not making formula, you might have a few employees there cleaning up, fixing things, but none of it adds up. None of it. Like, you're a business. You can't close for 3 months and expect this to keep going. And you're the number one supplier in the country. If you're the number one supplier of batteries for pacemakers in the country or whatever, like, you think they're just going to let that slip through? Like, oh, no, you're cool. So the bigger you are and the more important you are like that, the more government oversight there is on everything.
So Abbott makes Similac?
Yeah. Abbott's a huge company, I guess.
We're sorry to every family we've let down, Abbott CEO explains to the company's role.
Bet that was written for him. Part of the
2 hours
negotiation ago. They had. You have to go out there and take blame for it.
Well, like you brought it up, so I was just interested to see what they say, right? So while I'm looking this up, it says that we're sorry to every family we've let down. Voluntary recall of its infected baby formula, while the right thing to do exacerbated the shortage. So there was already a shortage?
I don't know. Guess so.
It was the right exacerbated the shortage. So how did we get to a shortage if it wasn't because of this?
Well,
so
I thought because a lot of it comes from China.
He's implying, right? So he's implying that it wasn't just the shutdown. There was already a shortage.
Right.
So how is there a shortage? Is it because people aren't working?
I thought there was
with supply chains already tangled by COVID-19
right.
and Abbott with around a 48% share of the formula market. So, yeah, they control 48% of it.
But I'm pretty sure the rest comes from China.
So it goes back to the supply chain issue. But, you know, the good news is that our transportation secretary was able to take, 6-8 weeks of paternity leave to go hang out with his adopted. Now, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't get that time, but I know that...
I thought that was mothers that had babies.
I know. Well,
physically had the baby.
No, but they passed it in the Army, or, so dads could go to for the bonding thing. But I don't remember it being 4 or 8 weeks, whatever it was. I'm sure someone will correct us.
Probably that would be some, I would think if you're in that level of the government, you probably don't have that luxury of taking 8 weeks off.
I'm pretty sure he came back from his paternity leave, and one of the first things he said was that our problem is because our supply chains are racist.
Oh.
I think he said something along those lines. I'm sure somebody will tell me exactly what he said. I probably need to be fact-checked on that because I might be adding some flair to it, but I'm pretty sure. I have a pretty good memory, I'm paraphrasing and summarizing. But he came back instead of addressing the shortage of truck drivers. I mean, all those ships allegedly sitting off the coast in California, and then Florida opened up their ports to let them in. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on that I don't feel like we're necessarily being told the whole truth on.
He's also the one that says if you can't afford gas, you should go buy an electric car. And then I saw a thing the other day.
Did you see? I thought you were going to bring up where he took his bicycle out of a truck, got on it, and then did a photo op where it looked like he was riding his bicycle to work in D.C., but he really just took it out of the back of the truck right before they took the picture.
AOC did that with some kids in masks, and they weren't wearing masks for that. Let's see what they do, all that stuff. But no, this was...
But why? They do that as propaganda. That's propaganda. To act like you ride your bike to work because you're all about green environment, but really you took it out of your truck?
No.
I'm sure that's been fact-checked, and someone
that wouldn't happen.
Doesn't agree.
That wouldn't happen.
So, but this is why I say question everything, because the truth is out there somewhere, as they say on X-Files.
Right.
It's out there, but you got to look for it, and you can't be lazy and just let the talking person on the TV screen tell you what to think and what to be scared of and what to be comfortable with and what's the big topic of the day. Once you fall into that trap, then you're just going to believe what they tell you. Because it's easy to do that way, by the way. It's easy and comforting to know that you're doing what you think everybody else in the country is doing.
But he had said, so here's the thing. Here's the thing he said, all right? He said, if you can't afford gas, go buy an electric car. And then I saw this thing, and that would be like saying, oh, you can't afford your rent, you should go buy a house. If they could afford a house, they would already own a house. But yes, go buy a $60,000 electric car, so that way you can't afford your electric bill, but you won't have to worry about gas no more. Hey. And probably park your electric car like down at the end of the driveway so it doesn't catch on fire. Like there was a bus in a city the other day that I saw flames like cranking out of that thing.
It's in the whole entire. He says there's racism physically built into America's infrastructure.
So is he saying like, so that bridge down the street?
It's racist.
It's racist. How can a bridge be racist? Now that
I read that, there was something about like with bicycle lanes and everything else.
How can a bridge be racist?
They've created or found ways of like it would keep people from going to the beach areas, probably like in rich towns, or I'm sure that there's probably something that was passed in the 50s or 60s or before then. But, was a law because they used to have segregation back in those days, that it was a stain in our country that we shouldn't forget about, that now we should be inclusive.
Oh, wait. So segregation. So this is before my time, of course. Whites and blacks that have different bathrooms, right? Or coloreds, would say, and whites. But that segregation, which is not okay, right? It would be the same segregation from the same party that enslaved the people to start with that say, I can't go in that building without my vaccine card. Huh, that segregation party? Oh, yeah. Interesting.
They love this, yeah.
No, it's very interesting. I didn't, good times. All right, what else we got? We're running out of time here. People have already lost interest a long time ago. We got a couple hardcore listeners still listening for us to get kicked off the air somehow. Well, Facebook or YouTube. Then we'll have to go to Rumble or some other thing. But
yeah, hey,
we'll just have to start sending this show out to people. We'll deliver it with like a newspaper.
It's easy to get emotional about these things because you care about them and you want good things to not only happen for you but everybody else around you. The best way you can do that is to be informed and to ask questions and not to just trust what people say. Right? Like, just look it up. We'll go and read it for yourself. You can request the inserts of any medication that you take, and even when they send you a prescription, it's all in there. Read through it.
So I give you a pamphlet for everything you take.
They're supposed to.
So, my little take is that, yeah, you need to question everything and look at everything. You need to support your local businesses. You need to support your local community. And you need to think back.
Yeah, that's why we focus on Newport, the good things. Yeah,
for those old enough to remember, which most are, I'm sure, all listeners. But if we could just go back to remembering how it felt on 9/11, that day, that next day, how we were all Americans again. You saw those flags right there and every little car going by. If we could go back to those days, we could really make a lot of change and a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, go back to those days without having impetus to rally around, other than the fact that we have a great country. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, we don't need something negative to happen for us.
No, because all we've heard lately is how bad our country is. Well, if you don't like our country, get the hell out. That's what I got to say.
It was awesome. And we're slipping.
And if you need help packing, let us know. We'll help pack your crap, and you can move to another.
I'm not helping anybody pack.
I will if it gets rid of some friggin' communist.
That's the only thing. I got nothing for communism.
No. So, yeah, if you don't like this country, there's a door everywhere. It's easy to get out in Mexico. You just walk across. They don't care. They don't check you.
You been through the border down there?
Yeah. It's funny because you can go to Mexico. They literally don't give a crap. They don't check your car. But when I come back, because I was there for like 2 hours, and I had a freaking rental car with Florida plates. I'm in my mid-30s. They like searched the car because they thought I was like.
Did you have the goatee back then?
Oh yeah, thought I was bringing drugs across. I literally sat outside laughing my ass off because they run on the dog through the car. I'm like, first of all, it's a rental. I don't care what you do to that car because I'm just gonna bring it back. And say I'd talk to the friggin' customs, but I went here to get some stuff for my kids and come back across the border. But hey, have fun at that little challenge. But it's funny. I was.
Did it take you a long time to get across the border?
Yeah, it was probably like a half hour or so because they, like I said, they put a little thing on your car. You go check this car, and I apparently look like a drug dealer. So I was.
It's that flat billed hat. Did
Yes.
you look like you were from New England?
No, I didn't even have the freaking hat.
You're the classic New England. Like I could cast you in a Hollywood movie right now.
Yeah. What's funny is they pull me in, check for drugs, but the van driving by with 50 illegals in the back stuffed in there, they just wave. Welcome to America. We got this guy over here. He's probably got drugs on him. Nope. All right, guys. Thanks for entertaining our...
Hopefully you stuck with us here.
Yeah, hopefully some of you did. If you haven't already, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our channel. We're at almost 300. And I know you're like, most of those are probably fake, but that's fine, because once you get to 1,000, they monetize us. Not that we'll get paid crap, but it's just the point. Like, the more subscribers you have, So your Fireman Friday thing was up to almost 40 views. So
I'm thinking if we can do a time lapse of the fence build, that might get some views, because some people might just want to see the technique we use, critique it, or follow the same one.
I wouldn't follow us for any advice on that kind of stuff, but hey, that's cool. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the Tim and Steve show. Have a good one.